Hey, it's Kate, and welcome to the Thrive with Kate podcast. And I'm here with Martin Pytela, and his website is life-enthusiast.com. And so I want to start a little bit with your story, because you're a respected functional medicine expert and a metabolic typing coach, and we're going to get all into metabolic typing.
Yeah.
And you're, like me, all about restoring vitality to people and the planet. So we've 100% alignment in that. And I'd love to find out a little bit more about your journey. So it began with immigrating to Canada and having a dozen mercury amalgam fillings, and that led to health issues. So tell us a little bit about your whole discovery of getting to the root cause.
Yeah. You know, I'm kind of unusual in the sense that I grew up behind the Iron Curtain in a world where the communist empire ruled. So I was very much unprepared for what life would be like on the other side because the rules are not the same. And so when I showed up, I grew up in a family of a veterinarian. Dad and I talked science and biology and whatever. But he said, son, don't you be a veterinarian or a doctor. That sucks. Why don't you, whatever. And so I went to the Institute of Economics and I took business, computer science, and business administration. But then I had this awakening, age 24. It's like, there's just no way I'm going to survive living here because I am a maverick. I'm a self-actualizing person. And in a police state that's, well, my dad told me, don't stick out. The nails that stick out get hammered. Well, I stick out. So I left together with some friends. We left. And there I was in Canada, completely not understanding how things work. And I trusted the dentist and I expected full disclosures. That's not what I got. When I first showed up with a full dental coverage, the first question was, do you have insurance? And I said, oh yeah, thinking that's a win. To them, that was, hell, he won't care how much he spends. And I didn't. And so they did this snow job of telling me that my teeth were decaying and needing upgrades and repairs, and it was going to be whatever. How is it possible that the other 20 teeth that I have never did need the other fillings, right? Anyway, mercury, the most toxic thing you can put in a human body. I didn't know it then. Said, okay, 12 fillings. All right, I guess you're right. We'll do it. And then they said, you can have silver fillings or you can have white fillings. And the silver fillings will last twice as long, like 20-something years. The white ones will have to be replaced in 10. And the white ones are extra. And I said, any other difference? And they said, no. Well, 12 mercury amalgam fillings later, I'm in immune system disaster. My physical structure is falling apart. I started out with plantar fasciitis. What is this called? Carpal tunnel syndrome, gum recession, periodontal disease, back issues, just like you wouldn't believe. Like I was just, for some reason, I can't hear a sound coming out of your side. So,
sorry. How long did it take from having the fillings to the symptoms?
Oh, on the second week, I had a herpes breakout. On the fourth week, I had a flu that was just phenomenally awful. On the 8th week, my back went out. It was boom, 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 boom. And of course, it gets worse. It's not just linear. It's geometric, right? So it's the curve that goes, So about 7 years in, I was really bad, debilitated.
How long did it take before you knew it was the mercury?
Well, so I went first to the orthopedic surgeon, helped me with the pain in this, right? And they gave me a cortisone shot, which takes the pain away for 6 weeks, and then you're worse off than you started. So I thought, well, that's not an avenue. So I found chiropractic, very skilled guy. He would put me back together. He would adjust not just my back, but my wrists and ankles and whatever. So I could function, but every week or so I had to go back to get me readjusted because I kept losing the adjustment. And that's the thing with mercury. It goes into low circulation tissues, fat, cartilage, tendon, bone, right? The body tries to hide it, push it away into low circulation places. Yeah, about 7 years in, I finally had enough. And I said, Martin, you're a systems analyst. Analyze this.
Yeah.
So into the library. This was 1984, 5, 6. So I read books and articles and whatnot. This was before internet. So eventually I found somewhere that the fillings are mercury amalgam fillings. In the meantime, in my quest, I had a hair trace mineral analysis done. So I knew I was high in mercury, but I was thinking, well, where did I get this? I don't eat so much tuna that I should have this. I was off the chart high. So eventually, when the shoe dropped, when I finally figured out which way is up, I went and started researching. And this is a gradual thing of losing faith in the system, losing faith in what they do and so on. So it took me a long time because I really believed that the guys with the white coat and a stethoscope and a diploma on the wall are good. They're working for me. So eventually I lost that faith. And then I took things in my own control, and then 4 or 5 years in, I was working through, I found things. Zeolite works great. Fulvic acid works great. Amino acids help to restore the tissues. And so I was peeling back the damage, right? I was no longer having to crawl on all fours from my bed to the toilet because my back would stop going out. Or the allergies that I had, they started going away. And it's not instant, it's gradual. So 10 years later, I was very clear about the causes and the treatments, and I finally learned the vocabulary of saying things like root cause analysis and metabolic this and metabolic that. I finally understood what the physiology of a human really works, as opposed to the myths and stories that we're told.
In terms of that, what were some of your biggest ahas?
We live in a toxic environment, and the industry is conspiring to hide it from us. They are finding excuses. The biggest aha for me was called LD50. LD50 is the lethal dose 50% dead. So when you administer, LD1 would be kill 1 in 100. So the discovery was this: when you combine LD1 of mercury with LD1 of lead, so on its own, LD1 mercury kills 1 in 100. On its own, LD1 of lead will kill 1 in 100. Tell me what the LD is for those two combined.
Oh my gosh. That's your
Take
LD50.
a stab at it.
Is that LD50?
No, it's 100.
Oh, no.
Right. And so we are microdosing the entire society with acceptable quantities of stuff. You're microdosing me with herbicides, pesticides, poison things, whatever, and it's all rising in the environment. And of course, my genetics, right? I'm an MTHFR. I didn't know it then, but I am. I'm a poor methylator. I do not detoxify well. So I'm one of the canaries in the coal mine who, there are 40% of the population like that. So it's not like
I'm sure I'm that too. Can that be epigenetically created as well? Because I know there's like these lab rat studies that show that when you separate the mom from, this is a mammalian study, like the mothers from the babies within the first 12 to 24 hours.
You know what the classic trigger into MTHFR? Methotrexate. They put you on methotrexate. Even if you're not MTHFR, you will now have the symptoms.
And tell people why people are put on methotrexate. What's the
that has to do with just dealing with your pre-diabetic tendencies. They're just trying to help you be less diabetic. The solution is...
That's all. Massive amounts of adult to pre-diabetic conditions are put on that, and then that triggers all of these.
So they stop you from having a high conversion of glucose to triglyceride, but at the same time they stop your ability to detoxify other things. So it's always something.
So your sense is, like, what I'm hearing from you is like your sense is this is all intentional, like, because I get the sense, or not, because there is it just like a bunch of like profit-driven motives compiled on top of each other that just creates a massive.
Well, the system analyst in me, right, has come back with any industry that I have ever looked into, and this was finance and chemical, food, agriculture, medicine, pharmacy, or any one of them. They all try to tilt the playing field in their advantage, and they do that through spending money on lobbyists, through which they affect the Congress, changing the legislative process in such way that the field tilts in their favor. So you end up with corruption. And it's not just corruption of like bribe money. It's corruption in that the information that's put out is what today would be known as mis or disinformation, intentional lies. Right? So that's what we have. So rising toxicity that they're hiding from us, the fact that it's FDA tells you that it's okay to take this much of any one item. The EPA tells you that the limit on the thing is this much. Well, yeah, if you investigate it on its own, investigating for that, you don't get a critical dose. But then you keep rising it. Look, what if I eat one meal of trace amount of whatever? Let's pick arsenic. Arsenic is found in rice in some fields, right?
Yep.
So I'm eating a little bit of arsenic every meal. If my body's not keeping up with it, it keeps rising in me. So up to here, I'm cool. Up to here, I'm not talking, I'm just blowing. Up to here, I have to hop to take a breath. And up to here, I've just drowned.
Yeah.
Right? And so that there we have these liminal moments when people just cave. In the fibromyalgia world, they call it, I'm in a flare.
Right. Well, right. And then there's, like, I was talking with a friend the other night after mountain biking, and she's like, I was just diagnosed with Lyme disease, but who knows if it's really that or just this autoimmune disease I had. Or
So listen to that.
Yeah.
Lyme disease has the same symptoms as fibromyalgia.
Right.
Or long COVID.
Or long COVID. Right. So that's like the point, right? Is it's like there's this.
You're toxic.
Like, I don't even know if I was bit by a tick. And I'm like, right. Like it's.
And so here's the other fallacy, right? The fallacy is that they want to investigate and find that the one thing that they are controlling, the controlled variable, is the one last thing that broke the camel's back. But you're loading, I was showing you this metaphor of loading this thing, right?
Right.
So
like, what does it matter, right? It doesn't
what
matter
does it matter?
The first, the second, the third, the.
Yeah. The last thing is the last thing. It could be a car accident, an emotional injury, some dramatic food poisoning. It could be any one thing that's going to take you down.
Right.
It could be that mountain biking weekend that's going to be the last thing and you just don't recover for months.
Right. And I think that's what's so overwhelming for people right now is it's like, is it this? Is it that? Like, I was interviewing a doctor and his whole take was it's like everything's candida, you know? And then like for other people, it's like long haul COVID or it's like the vaccine injury or right. So how much of this, in your opinion, is it like you're going to see candida in these situations and you're going to see?
Well, okay, so let's talk candida. So candida is a fungal infection. It will be present when your body is trying to decompose. You see, fungal is a decomposer. I will finally be decomposed when I stop living. Fungus will take me into my constituent parts. Anyway, so if you have heavy metals or other industrial toxins in your body will automatically try to somehow decompose it. So it's like you're a farm in which you're trying to grow decomposers. No wonder.
Candida is a healing response, is what you're saying.
Yeah, in fact. And of course, now candida or other fungal are fed carbohydrates, right? That's what they thrive on.
Yep.
So if you're on a carby diet, which of course the mainstream low-fat diet is, you're automatically feeding it and you're automatically going to grow it.
Because everybody, I mean, this is the thing, right? It's like everybody has candida, like everybody has staph, like we all have a diversity of the dysbiotic and eubiotic.
Well, candida is interesting in this way. If it's in the gut, it's no big deal. If it's on the back of your tongue, you can manage it. That's just thrush. But if it goes systemic, when it breaks through the intestinal wall and starts spreading apart these tissues, you now develop this intestinal permeability or leaky gut. And you will now have underdigested pieces of food getting past the barrier that was supposed to stop it. Now you are fully activated. Systemic.
Okay, so back to you and your journey, because at this time you have coached 12,000 clients and shared your experience with expertise with 60,000 people on Udemy, right? And so let's talk about your 5 pillars of health.
Well, there are more 5 holes into which you fall, right?
Or climb back out of?
Well, it's no, let me say it differently. So there are 5 things you should never eat. Refined flour, refined sugar, refined salt, refined plant seed oils, and dairy that's been homogenized and pasteurized. Those are the 5 legs on which this destruction of your body will stand. And then the other things are toxicity, malnutrition, stagnation, and trauma. These will be the pillars of destruction that you must overcome, or else. And so toxicity, that's the industrial age toxins, the soup that we're living in, that with every ton of glyphosate that they put on the fields, there's just simply more of it in the world, right? So PFOA, the forever chemical.
Yeah.
It starts as C.
Go ahead.
The C8 is the substrate from which the Teflon is made, right? C8 is 8 carbons. Teflon is the infinite string of carbons with fluorine, hanging off of the carbons. But C8 is just like MCT, which is medium chain triglyceride. 8 carbons with hydrogens is healthy fat. 8 carbons with fluorines is deadly, forever chemical. And they are really similar looking to the body. Anyway, so that's just a sidebar into toxicity. So toxicity in the environment and in the body. Heavy metals, volatile organic compounds, all the smelly stuff, all the cosmetics, water, food, all of those things are the breeding ground in which your normal functioning will be impeded.
So,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, I was going to jump into the second one, but no.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
All right, so malnutrition, right? So the food industry is processing stuff that the agricultural industry is growing on fields fertilized by the chemical industry. NPK, that's nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. Well, food is supposed to be made from more ingredients than those three. But those are the three that are being thrown on the field. So you're depleting the soils with every season you have. And of course, if you throw herbicide and pesticide on it, then you now have all this mess. But anyway, you come up with malnutrition because you're eating foods that are rich in calories but poor in nutrients. And even the nutrients that you think you're getting are low density. It's documented that today, example, broccoli has 10% of the mineral density of what it had 150 years ago. How are you going to eat a stir fry with 10 pounds of broccoli to match your grandmother's food?
Well, what I noticed, because I live in the Rocky Mountains and I wildcraft a lot. Like I'm because I mountain bike and I hike and I garden, and there's weeds everywhere. There's edible weeds everywhere, and then there's wild edible plants, and they don't taste anything like I grow. Like if I'm growing lettuces in my garden, they don't taste anything like that. They don't taste anything like anything from Costco or the local grocery store.
Yeah, talk about rock dusting as a method of reviving the soils, right?
Rock dusting.
Yeah, you're supposed to take something like basalt, mill it fine, and spread it on your field so that you repopulate the soil with the nutrients that you have taken out but didn't put back. Because all you put on is NPK.
Right.
So you are eating virgin soil food.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of us aren't.
No, and it doesn't, I mean, and it instantly, so say I'm like yesterday, I'm out on my mountain bike ride and I choose some pine tips. Like I'm just riding by and I'm pulling pine tips off, high in vitamins and all that. Well, immediately a dysbiotic biofilm, like AKA like a chunk of mucus, will come out of either like my nostrils, the back of my throat, the back of my tongue. I might cough it up, right? And it's like the body instantly, the oralome and the sinus microbiome immediately change from that wildness.
Right. And of course, you're putting in some turpentine, you're putting in some whatever pinene probably is there, vitamin C richly present, antioxidants in there. I mean, there's just a load of nutrients in those pine tips, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I interviewed this woman years ago, Katrina Blair, who wrote The Wisdom of Wild Weeds, and she would do like a 3-week walk. She called them a walkabout, where she would just eat wild plants. One of the things that she conveyed to me that really stuck was how, you know, when you're doing that, you just eat so much less because there's so much more nutrition in what you're eating. You're just getting this whole phytonutrient experience, and there's not a desire to overconsume. So, like, how much do you think the current, I know you work so much with metabolic health, and I want to go into the metabolic typing and all that.
I want to say this, right? So you finish your pizza, which is wheat, tomato paste, and cheese, a bit of salt, and maybe sausage. At the end of the meal, you have consumed a load of calories, but not that much of nutrients. There is no minimum requirement for carbohydrate. Zero. It's just calories. So at the end of the meal, the body says, feed me, because
Right.
it hasn't had enough.
And then people reach for dessert. So now we're back to refined.
Well, but your dessert is going to be refined flour with some chocolate and sprinkles, artificial coloring on sugar, right?
And it's so hard, right? I mean, this is one of the things that I feel like as a, as like a modern mom, right? Because I have a 17-year-old. My husband works in the construction industry. Like, there's nothing on the like hippie side, I would say, about my family, right? Like, I'm just like somewhat caught up in like a, like I would say like an upper middle class mainstream culture. And I'm thinking like for me, like these people have, like we're upper middle class, like we have resources, like everyone's kids are going to college. Everyone's kids are, in athletic programs or music programs, or art programs or all that. And it's still, we're perpetuating it. Like we're not able to stop it.
Yeah, you just hit on such an important bit. I'll just say the big picture, which scares the heck out of me. Like, I see it from outside in, right? I still have that formation brain that has me understanding how to look from outside in.
Yeah.
So watch this. So I have the industry that's living on subsidies from the government, growing foods that with subsidized dollars. So taxes in, given to farmers to grow corn, wheat, soy, and lentils. And what's the third one? I don't know. Maybe rice. Maybe. But anyway, grains, right? They are subsidized stuff.
Yeah.
My money or your money going in to pay them to grow that stuff. Now, that stuff makes foods that are too rich in calories and too poor in nutrients that you will now put into stores so that people can buy it with their food stamps. Again, more tax money now going in to pay for stuff that was subsidized to grow, artificially made cheaper.
Yeah.
Now, those people are going to have these urbanized civilization, industrial age illnesses. So they will go metabolic illness, right? We call them histamine-mediated degenerative metabolic illnesses. High blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, those are the most popular ones, but there's more. Arthritis, fibromyalgia.
Histamine regulated, because that's all the part of like how it first starts off as the immune system falling apart. So we have this allergy type response, and we have that first usually diagnosis and pharmaceutical response, whether it's allergies, ectopic dermatitis, or asthma.
Yeah, all that. So those are the how you get sick.
Yeah.
But the why you get sick are on you're eating stamps supported foods, and now you're going into the mainstream medical system that's fed your tax dollars through Medicare or Obamacare or whatever care. Mm-hmm. The worst thing you can do is get health insurance, because you'll be getting stuff done not because it's needed, but because it's in the standard of care, which is driven by the insurance company, not by the doctor. The doctor doesn't decide what's right for you. The insurance company decides what the doctor is allowed to put on the standard of care that they will deliver.
It's kind of fun in this influencer age. I've been seeing more and more doctors on YouTube channels just saying how like this patient of mine needs this surgery and this insurance company will not insure it. And it's like, that's becoming more... Yeah. That's becoming more well-known and transparent.
Right, so it's obvious that the insurance industry is in fact conspiring to drive the thing, and so the patient in here is in fact the product that they're selling to one another. They're selling me the food, the illness, and the so-called solution to it, and it's all driven through tax dollars. So 50% of all taxes that are collected are driven into this nonsense. This circular game of whack-a-mole, of grow the wrong stuff, feed the wrong stuff, create the problem, and not solve the problem, only treat the symptom. Thank you very much. So that's what I discovered, and that's what I try to teach people through these, when you say 60,000 people educated, whatever. I have talked to a lot of people. I hope they're getting the message. Your power, dear client, dear listener, is in your wallet. And you decide what you're going to spend it on. And wherever you put your dollar is whatever you just took out off the shelf is going to be replaced, because that's how the system works. Yeah. Your money is the oxygen of the economy. So when you buy something, you're sending a message to the manufacturer to do it again.
Yeah. Totally.
Right?
Amen. Yeah, exactly. And I just want to do a shout out to Crowd Health, who I interviewed the founder of Crowd Health last year.
Right.
We switched our family to Crowd Health. I know this is not an option for Canadians. You guys are stuck right? And so it's crowdhealth.com. I'll put a link in the chat for like some of their promo stuff. But it's been pretty amazing for our family. It gets it out of that insurance paradigm, and people become more proactive on their health on it, and it kind of works like it works like crowdsource insurance in a very dependable way.
It's my hope that people will simply leave that entire model behind.
Yeah.
Right? And you're talking about yourself. I mean, I know for me, I have used the mainstream system when I broke my foot and I had my vasectomy done. Mm-hmm. Those were the 2 times that I was in that I actually used it. Every other time, anything that was ever harmful to me came from them, and anything that was ever healing me, I paid for cash.
I so hear you. I don't want to get into my personal stories with that, but like, yes.
Well, all right. So yeah, your story is probably every rich as mine, right?
God, I feel like, and then I lead Wellness Pro Academy, so I just work with healers all day, and everyone's got the story, right? Because we are the canaries in the coal mine.
Yes.
We are that metabolic type, or those that have had the injury.
Okay, so I started with, there's toxicity, there's malnutrition. So remember, the food that's grown in depleted fields is going to be deficient. You have to compensate for the deficit. You need to choose differently. You need to nourish, not stuff full of calories. Third is stagnation, which is essentially the sedentary illness. With Gary Brecka, aging is the relentless pursuit of comfort.
How much of stagnation is happening just due to like gluten, or due to like just due to the chemical load, et cetera, where there's not maybe physical stagnation, but there's stagnation.
Well, I try to separate it as a solution to the whatever, right? Like your lymphatic system is not moving, there's so many different concepts, right? Like
ways
you have to have the flow working, the flow of metabolic waste needs to be working, and if it's not, you stagnate too, and your lymphatic system and whatever else. Muscles, just a quickie. So your bone gets stressed by the muscle, and only in the stressed point it's mineralized. So if you're suffering from osteoporosis, it's because you're not moving enough. The minerals will be found. It's the lack of stress on the bone, and that's provided by the muscle that's attached to the bone. And if you're not moving enough, then you're atrophying the muscle size, which is the storage for the glycogen, which is dependent on your ability to deal with the starch that produces the glucose, that raises the glucose level in your bloodstream, that will be converted into the triglyceride and belly fat. So you'll be bone loss, not enough muscle mass, and too much fat on the body if you don't move.
Yeah.
Vicious, right?
Vicious. Yeah.
Well, thank God for you knowing how to get on a bicycle and get out there and do it, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've even found like YouTube Premium costs like $20 to $30 depending on when you sign up. And there's like every expert in exercise physiology that you could ever want. So there's no reason. And I know, actually, there's a study, you might know the study too, that even people watching people exercise are more likely to exercise. So even if you just put a YouTube video on of something that you might do, like that might be push-ups or sit-ups, it might be like a 20-minute yoga flow, it might be like 20-minute body weight lifting session. Even just by putting it on, it's like I love the idea of like the tiny habits. Like the tiny habit that works is actually just not even doing the workout, just like actually putting it on your phone and watching it for a minute, and you'll be more likely to get up and start doing the thing that the person in the video is doing.
And I'm thinking that even just mentally going through the experience of watching a person do it, there's some, I don't know what going on in your mind. Because I remember a study where people were told to practice free throws in their mind, not with the ball.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And they were way better than the people who did not visualize the free throws when they got on the line.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like done with like expert NBA players. Like it was
No, just regular folks. And then they scored the numbers, and just visualizing it was helpful.
I think Joe Dispenza talks about another study where visualizing yourself lifting weights improved muscle mass.
I agree it will, and that's what you just finished telling that watching physiotherapy videos will improve your flexibility, and watching exercise videos will probably improve your metabolic capacity. But please, get off your chair and go out there.
Yeah, go have fun. Go have fun in your body. Okay, I worry that we're not going to have enough time to get deep into metabolic typing. So you're a metabolic typing coach.
How much time do I have left here? 4 minutes?
No, you got 20.
Okay, good. So the fourth one is trauma.
Okay.
Trauma is stuff that you cannot see, that happens to you, that will affect you. So one big trauma is the electromagnetic frequencies that are all around us. This is a big deal because shortwave, which is known as the 4G and 5G, anything from 5 gigahertz and shorter, is triggering this thing called voltage-gated calcium channel, which is the cell response to go into the fight or flight mode. It's affecting your autonomic nervous system within your body and giving you the anxiety response, let's call it that, which means blood pressure up, nervousness up, digestion shut down, immunity put on hold, all of that.
Yeah.
Turn off the stuff. So that's one. Two, we know.
Wait, when you're saying, well, let's talk about turn off the stuff. 'Cause, yeah, easier said than done, right? Does this mean like turn the, like power down the, I know one of, I think it was Dr. John Douillard, he used to just basically put a timer, one of those timers that's hooked up to the internet. So like every night it would turn off at whatever, 9, and then it wouldn't turn on again until like 9 a.m. the next morning.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? Like, so there's no Wi-Fi running in the house? What do you mean by turn this
In
off?
your lifestyle, that's pretty cool because you are probably 100 feet away from your neighbor or more. Whereas if you're in an apartment building, you turn on your phone and you have 25 antennas that you can hook to.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. So it doesn't matter. There's no getting away from Wi-Fi.
So the solution I found is called Blue Shield. We offer it to anyone, and it's a device that sends out a message that says, yes, ignore that and instead focus on your parasympathetic healing side. It's called the PHI, P-H-I wave. It's the harmonious wave, and it tells the subconscious or tells the autonomic nervous system to stay in healing. An example, right? So I have this customer, she ordered it, a mom with a 17-year-old daughter, forever arguing, disharmony, and whatever trouble, and inflammatory disease. She writes back, I turned the thing on, and within two hours, a peace settled over our household. The teenage angst dissipated. Our disagreements became friendly discussions. We are like this, she said, with my daughter.
So who's the manufacturer?
Well, it's called Blue Shield, B-L-U Shield.
Okay, now I'm seeing it on your website. I just want to refer people to there's...
Yeah, you can find it on the website under EMF devices.
Yeah, or you can go to life-enthusiast.com for shop, and it's in the shop under Blue Shield.
Right,
okay, I'm with you.
So that's one. I mean, there are stickers that do all kinds of neat things, right? Like there are other gizmos that seem to balance a person, which is not nothing, because those back when you have that in your presence, that thing helps to balance the energies as they flow through the meridians. They do. It's not a nothing. I have tested it. You balance a person. But it's not intense enough for 5G world.
And so, okay, got it.
All right, so that's the trauma. And I would like to talk about, of course, the adverse childhood events. All of us have had some. And of course, we all have adult adverse events, whether it's a catastrophic event like a rape or something awful, or even just a steady drip of, I don't know, an alcoholic partner or whatever. Financial stress is probably enough to drive most of us into trouble. So that needs to be dealt with, and for that I've been recommending things like neuro-linguistic programming or emotional freedom technique or body talk or whatever.
So EFT, that's the tapping that a lot
tapping
of
is one,
people have heard of.
Yeah. Those are the methods through which you are able to discharge the emotional load that's working your subconscious in a bad way.
Right.
Let it get out of there. Connect with your higher self somehow.
Well, I mean, this is my sense, is like this, it just kind of seems like low level anxiety, right? Where it's not, like, I'm not an anxious person, yet. I notice from even that, part of that trauma, I think, is some of the ways that we're influenced by culture, whether that's our family culture, that's just culture at large. And so what I notice is, like, for example, my dad, the way that he orients, his parents were immigrants from Poland and Russia. They're Jewish. It's like, Holocaust survivor stuff in the family. Like, there's this, like, the bad guy's right around the corner. That is the program that is running in the background. That's the program that was passed down. So it's like, life looks amazing on the outside. And it is. And it is. But the default mechanism, like the operating system, is very low level, but it's 24/7, 365 anxiety.
Yeah, you're describing this thing called vigilance, right? Like you can be always on, being vigilant, and then there are some of us who are hyper vigilant. So let's get into metabolic typing here at this juncture. It's really cool because metabolic typing will help you understand whether you are an oxidizer or an autonomic. Those aren't just labels, like left-handed or right-handed. And the oxidizer is made more alkaline by fats and proteins, and the autonomic is made more alkaline by carbohydrates. So they're each other's opposites. Now, getting alkaline is this. You wake up late, you have higher emotional intelligence, but you tend to procrastinate. And if you overshoot the alkalinity, you become despondent. And if you really overshoot it, you'll become depressed. Just pull the sheet over your head. I'm not getting out of bed today. Depressed. So slightly alkaline people are really pleasant, jovial, artsy, nice. Now, the slightly acidic person starts with excitement, then goes into impatience, then loss of social graces, like, get out of my way, I'll do it myself.
You're talking about me.
And then if you push further out, if you push it externally, then it's road rage, just attacking. Whereas if you flip it and push it inward, now you're not in the now. You're either catastrophizing your future or you are reliving your past with regrets. I should have this, I shouldn't have that, things you should have done or things you shouldn't have done. That is where anxiety lives. And that's acidity. And if you push further past that, you end up in...
Why does it go to schizophrenia?
Well, just anxiety taken to its extreme.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So once someone identifies what they are, so that's like the black and white of metabolic typing. Is
so that's so you're...
Two types.
Yeah, well, think of it as continuum, right? Like we can have a male and female, and you can be sort of, the continuum is that there are people who are really far out, and there are some people who are less differentiated, right?
Yep.
Or better yet, something less edgy. Well, left-handed, right-handed. Let's go with something neutral like that. So you could be so left-handed that you can't do a damn thing with your right hand, or you could be somewhat ambidextrous. You're more flexible, which is useful.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you are in the middle of this metabolic, then you have behavioral flexibility. If you're stuck in anxiety or stuck in procrastination and depression, you're stuck. So some people are waking up overly alkaline and some people are waking up overly acidic.
And you can tell with just a simple pH strip test, like that's what we're using to tell.
No, I just ask you how you feel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like if you're interrupting me as I'm trying to talk, or if you talk real fast, you're acidic. Whereas if you just, you can watch me, I am on the acidic side. This is a classic, I'm not alkaline right now. All right. And so if I were to be alkaline, I would just kind of slow down. I would just take it back a couple of notches, and I would just say, well, the world is actually really nice. Let's go smell some flower. Let's go paint some pictures. Let's go right brain for a while.
Oh my gosh, it's so interesting because, like, my brother, like, I'm just thinking of an example, and I'm guessing people listening are thinking of examples on one side or the other. It's like he procrastinates. Like, it takes him way longer to do things, whereas I'm just like, let's just get it done.
Yeah. He doesn't have the drive.
Yeah, he doesn't have the drive. And so that procrastination, it's really this drive issue, or some people might say like a manifestation issue, where they have trouble manifesting or generating.
Yeah. In acidity, you're impatient. You want it now.
Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah. Okay, sure. So now, here comes. So some of us wake up acidic early, in second gear.
Yeah.
Whereas others are more the night owly people who just, well, whatever. It can happen later. So if you give me the food that makes me even more acidic, I'll go from busy to ornery and bitchy.
Yep.
Whereas if you push me more alkaline, I go from, what's the word, procrastinating to I want to cut my wrists.
Yeah.
So now, if
Is
you're
it like that? Is it like I want to cut my own wrist, or I'm just going to go fall asleep in like a cave? Like, is it?
Yeah. There we go. So if you are alkalized by carbs, they'll put you to sleep. We will label you as autonomic. If, on the other hand, you're alkalized by fats, we'll label you oxidizer, and there's the picture,
Okay.
right? And so you
And
need
so
to
those-
take
the left, right, and then how you're alkalized, whether it's carbs or fats.
you need to take the antidote. Because if you're dysregulated, you need to re-regulate, but it's not the same. If you're an oxidizer, you need to push. Well, so we have two types of oxidizers. The fast oxidizer is acidic, the slow oxidizer is alkaline. So the vector is fat. So the slow oxidizer is already too alkaline. I need to give him or her fruits and veggies to unalkalize them. Whereas the fast oxidizer, I need to give them fats and proteins to unacidify them.
Okay. Okay, so I'm a fast.
Well, I don't know what you are yet. You could be an oxidizer or you can be an autonomic. So, did you say to me just a moment ago that eating carbs put you to sleep?
I don't feel like anything puts me to sleep.
Okay, so let's try.
That acidic, you know what I mean? Like I have like that much drive.
Yeah. Let's try a cocktail party.
Okay.
So, in a cocktail party, they will be serving snacks that are mostly starchy, pieces of donut and bread and whatnot. And they'll be serving alcohol in sugar drinks. So, drink number 1, oxidizers get louder. On drink 2, they get really vocal and argumentative. On drink 3, some of them will start picking fights, or at least arguments. And drink 4, they'll be physically contrarian.
Yeah, I could do that.
And the more they drink, the more awake they are. So those are the people who go on benders. Now the autonomics, they have a different response. First drink, they lose their brakes. They just start saying things. On the second drink, they will start regretting what they said and start crying about it. Emotional, letting tears go.
That. Yeah.
And on third drink, they will have a major emotional meltdown and go to sleep.
Yeah, I'm the first one.
You stay awake.
Yeah. I'll stay awake and I'll get edgier.
Yeah. So you're a fast oxidizer and your calming diet is called keto.
Right, because okay, so that's why I do better with high protein, high fat.
Yeah. Because if you stuff yourself full of orange juice and cake, you'll be so unpleasant.
So unpleasant. And I'll know I'm being unpleasant and try not to be unpleasant.
And you cannot stop it. No. It's like, remember Wayne Dyer said this. When you squeeze an orange, what comes out of it?
Orange juice.
Why? Because it's full of it, right? So when you squeeze a fast oxidizer, the only thing that can come out of it is contrarian and unpleasant. But boy, do they get stuff done.
Yeah, we can really get stuff done. Yeah, it's so true. I love what you're saying. And what I love about this is like I have a very similar way of working, which is like solutions are free, right? And what I'm hearing what you're saying is like you don't need this expensive test to buy to figure it out. Like there's some questions, you just let us through the questions so anyone listening can follow along and self-diagnose whether you need more. Yeah.
You can totally self-diagnose. Now, we have a shortcut. It's only $97. You answer 120 multiple choice questions, and we'll give you an answer to this, and we'll hand you a user manual. And the second question we'll answer for you is your endocrine dominance, of which there are 4. Thyroid, adrenal, pituitary, and women also have ovarian. And depending which you are, I'll tell you how you gain or lose weight.
Oh, wow.
Which is so bizarrely mysterious to most people. But it isn't.
Yeah.
A thyroid person will gain weight with carbs and lose weight with fats. Full stop. Their health food is seafood. So an adrenal will gain weight with fats and lose weight with salads. So complete opposite of the thyroid. So now if you don't know and you're told keto diet, great. Well, the thyroid type will lose weight. The adrenal type will gain weight. Okay, the third one. that their temptation food would be savory rather than starchy, and they would be able to handle coffee endlessly, whereas the other ones are just buzzed. And then the pituitary, they tend to be the intellectuals of the world. Their temptation foods tend to be creamy, like yogurt and ice cream and whipping cream and custard and that sort of stuff. But their health food is organ meat, heart, tongue, liver, all that hunter stuff. And women, if you overdrive the estrogen by overstimulating your ovaries, you will accentuate your secondary feminine characteristics. And that will be, you'll be size 2 from waist up, size 6 from waist down, like hips, and you'll be eye candy for all men, and you'll be wondering, why is my ass so big?
Yeah.
And yet, well, and the why is you're overstimulating with hot food. Like you'll run into some gals that will eat the 5 chilies on the Szechuan dinner.
Oh, yeah.
No worries, they can take it.
Yeah. Okay. So the way that,
story.
so for people to self-diagnose that, it's better to take your test, is what you're saying. It's like,
Well, the answers are still online. You come to Life Enthusiast and you watch a few of those podcasts. You can tease it out. But if you're a busy person and you want a quick answer, well, come on, get it.
You want the manual. Okay.
Yeah.
So how much, as people come into balance, do they naturally crave the antidote? It's like when you're saying like fat and organ meat, I'm like, no, because like my grandma's chopped chicken liver growing up. Like I know my body loves organ meat. Like my favorite foods when I go way back, like I loved liverwurst. They don't even sell it anymore.
Well, sure they do. You just need to look.
Well, you need to look. That's what I mean. Like at the normal places, right?
Yeah,
Where my
yeah.
mom used I know I loved liver and, and these organ meats. So how much is it like when people go, and I guess some people don't even have a reference point for that because they've never had organ meat at this day and age where it's all just,
Many people are just gag me before I'll eat liver and onions.
Right. Yeah. There's no context. But how much as people are coming into balance or detoxifying, et cetera, will they start to crave?
I don't know about crave, right? Like crave is really weird because, of course, these days...
Or want. How much will they desire that which is helpful to them?
We're distorted by the food-like objects produced by the industry that's feeding it to us. And they have created food porn. It's addictive beyond reason.
Yeah.
Listen, I am educated to the nines, but if you leave me alone with a bag of Doritos, I will find a way to justify every last one of them until they're gone.
Right.
It's addictive. It's crack. I cannot buy it. I cannot bring it into the house because I would eat it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And it's everywhere. Okay. So we might not desire it even though it helps us, although eventually the more we're eating that which helps us based on our metabolic type, we'll eventually be able to just know what are like the triggers that make us go totally crazy and have less desire for those.
Right. So in the end, detoxify, improve your nutrient density, exercise some more, move more, deal with your emotions, and you will know, and especially if you get the map, you will know that, is here a fast oxidizer? Well, you need to supplement calcium, phosphorus, zinc, and iodine. Those are your most important things. If you're a slow oxidizer...
How do you say it? Fulvic acid?
Fulvic?
Is that in like oral supplements, or where do you suggest, how do you suggest people take those? Is there like a specific formula for the fast oxidizers?
No, we just fine tune it. Yeah, iodine is find it, bring it in. Phosphorus, find some hydroxyapatite, push that.
Okay.
Yeah, the other one I meant to say, they need to have vanadium, chromium, copper, magnesium, potassium. Those would be the main ones. And vitamin B6 and 12. Whereas the other one needs more vitamin B3 and B5. So there's variance, and it's not huge, but you need to compensate for where this needs to go.
Mm-hmm. And then, go ahead.
No.
So, okay, imagine people are doing this. They're starting to drop the ultra-processed and the processed, and they, their type, so they're going more towards real nutrition according to their type. They're supplementing with the minerals that they're depleted in now, and they're moving, they're exercising, they're doing like weight-bearing exercises to reduce the stagnation. How long is it taking people to get better that have some of those like long-haul COVID or chronic?
Yeah. So I have tools for the people who are broken, right? Like I have not talked about the tools, I highlighted it. I talked about toxicity and malnutrition. I have specific tools. When you are all broken, you are way down in these categories, and I have tools. You need to get specific. I have this and that for dealing with your metabolic dysfunction and with your regulatory dysfunction and blah, 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 all of that stuff. So when you're broken, you need to make an appointment and you need to talk to me, and I'll make you a lesson plan and we'll work it out. There is a path out. I followed it myself, and now I teach people how they can just find a way. There is a way.
I think just that message of it, if it's something that is solvable, is so important. I know, teaching wellness pros about business, like one thing that most wellness pros have in common is when people come to them, they're like, the number one thing they hear from people is like, I've tried everything. And it's like such a joke because like everything, like it's so a drop of water in the ocean of no matter, like even for myself, like no matter what I've tried, right? It's a drop of water in the ocean of what we know and what's out there.
You mentioned the most magical word, water. This is a glass vessel, not plastic. It is in its ceramics that are helping to structure the water, break up the clustering, so that this actually properly hydrates at the cellular level. You start with that.
Yeah, amen to that. Martin, really fun to hang out with you and get your system. I love that, that you've broken it down into these ways that we
there's a structure and there's a path. All we have to do is just do those steps. That's it.
Okay, so if people go to life-enthusiast.com, do they just click on the contact us if they want to schedule an
There's
appointment?
one, or under education, there's a click that says appointment. I give away 15 minutes to anyone who wants to know.
Okay, amazing. And then I have another question. So if you have a minute, I know people are often like, they're just like, oh my gosh, this is going to cost me so much money to get healthy. And I'm already working this job I don't want because I have insurance, and then I still have to pay for my insurance on top of that. And I bought $60 worth of supplements last week on Amazon, and like I pay for my yoga classes. And so I just want, like, in your estimation of you working with people, like how much does it cost people to get healthy? And then part B of the question is like, in terms of what someone can do when they're healthy, like how do you see that return on investment that they might not be seeing?
Ideally, I would like the person to have $150 a month to spend on mostly what I would call food, groceries. You're getting them from me instead of from a store, but we have superfood blends, and we have mineral supplements, and we have some enzymes, and then we have some detox tools. Over time, it will be reduced to maybe $100 a person for the supplementation after you've cleared yourself. If you have a serious problem, you will probably need to find $300 a month for a while to get out. It's just there. But it's not a $2,000 or $5,000 starting fee where I'm going to run $2,000 worth of tests. I don't need to.
Right. I know, because I know just the listener, it's like there's just so many of this, like these barriers to really getting the help they need and seeing what works. And yeah, okay. Amazing. So I'm going to say your website again. It's life-enthusiast.com. And if you go to /appointment, you can see that 15-minute health coaching session with Martin. And then we can work from there. Awesome. Thanks so much, Martin. Really fun to get to know you.
Kate, it's been a great conversation. I love the way you ask questions.
All right, you guys. Hello, listeners. So I have created for the wellness pros out there who listen to this show, the Wellness Pro Launchpad, and I'll get you in for free. Just go to wellnesspro.academy/launchpad. LAUNCHPAD, Launchpad, and then just fill out the form and we'll get you right into this school classroom in here. And in the Launchpad, it's really cool. Like, you get to see yourself as the hero in the path of the Wellness Pro, and then your client's transformation and A to B, and your vibe and your brand, your investment story, and design the journey for your clients, patients, or students, and then how to price from results. So these lessons are super short. They're each about 10 minutes, and you'll have a reframe on how to launch and scale the next phase of your wellness career. So wellnesspro.academy /launchpad. And then and on the inside, if you really want to launch, you can, like your next phase of growth as a wellness pro, then you can talk to me. See you soon.